Sorry. I was so busy thinking about what to say. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining me. Thank you, chat monitors, for your help. I appreciate it. And thank you, everyone who called me to let me know my sound was off. That's when you do live, it happens, at least to me anyway. I'm the only one doing everything, so bear with me. Having said that, I don't know how many of you watched the news conference with the Epstein victims. This has become a movement now. It's no longer a number of women getting together to get justice for someone who hurt them. That's part of it. But this thing is, intuitively, I feel, is taking a new phase. And Trump is panicking, and that's why I put Trump's mental health. He can't control it. But I'll get to that in a minute. Okay? What those women are doing, because they have gotten together, it's a movement. More Americans believe them. Americans are behind them. And there is no way those who victimize those women who are still around, there's going to be a price to pay. As long as, according to our justice system, proper investigation is done, and they will suffer the consequences of what happened whenever it happened, but it's coming. But if Trump thinks that he's going to be able to stop or prevent the files from coming out, intuitively speaking, it's going to be worse. The best thing right now for Republicans to do, intuitively again, I feel, release the files, accept whatever wrong they did, and wait for the legal system to take action, if any. Every single day that goes by, intuitively, I feel Trump, as we know, he has some, according to his niece, confirmed it, okay, he has dementia. And the other reason why I wanted to talk about this today, Trump mental health, because I don't post those things, just to get clicks. He's getting worse behind the scenes because he's getting a lot more agitated, more often, and the anger goes off the chart. They are having difficulties containing him and controlling him. And let me tell you something. I don't know how many of you heard what he said to a reporter Sunday on Air Force One. He called her Piggy because she asked him a question. He didn't like it. And I saw the video yesterday, and I believe Occupy Democrats had it on, and there's another channel as well that had it on, and it's all over the newspapers this morning. Intuitively, I feel, according to experts, I'm sure those of you who are, when there is a degree that Alzheimer's or whatever he has, dementia, okay, you lose control of, you become unprohibited in some ways. And you can say things to people, do things that normally someone who's well wouldn't do. And when I heard that, intuitively, that's where my mind went. Because I've been feeling he was out of control behind the scenes. But that validated the impression that I was getting. And watch him, he's going to do the worst blow up in public as well. Okay, and he's going to demand certain things that are like he's doing right now. the demand he's going to place on the Senate to thwart the release of those files, there's going to be a fight between Trump and Thune and Republicans in the Senate. They're going to try to kill it, as we know. I didn't think about that until this morning. Is that you guys? Hi, this is Milu.
Milu, my back's freaking out.
This is one of my clients. He calls me all the time. Anyway, I thought it was one of you. Yes, Trump is going to continue to get worse. And some of the things that he's going to demand that Thune and Republicans in the Senate to do for him, they're not going to go along. They can't go along with it, because just like he has been able to put Republicans in the House in a position in a losing position, he wants those guys to stand up to help him. And if they don't help him, he's going to get angry, just like he has gotten angry at some people in the House. Watch that fight, because he wants them to people in the Senate don't want to lose their seat. They want to stay there. It's a career to them. So he's going to ask them to put their career in jeopardy for him. They're not going to do it. And he's going to lose it again. There is nothing Trump can do to stop this trend. I've said it before, but now he's getting more frantic every day. It's a new drama in the White House, and he's driving the people, because intuitively I feel he has a group of people where they get together and brainstorm. He doesn't have to be there necessarily. These people, it feels like to me, it's a group like whenever there's a crisis, a political crisis, like, anything that's happening here, and they need somehow to obfuscate, to lie, whatever Trump needs to do to put it on the back burner. But they haven't been able to do that with the Epstein file. But there's a number of people, they get together, they put options, where they can go about attacking whoever they need to make whatever it is story go away. And Trump, since they know how well he lies and he can fabricate things and accuse others, they keep that in mind as well when they make up the quid pro quo, or whatever it is that they have to do, to help Trump overcome whatever challenge it is. They're doing that. So far, nothing is working. Nothing is going to work. And Trump is getting angrier and angrier. No one in the White House is spared when it comes to his, when he loses control or loses his temper. He's becoming unmanageable. That's what I feel. And it's not going to be good. Expect them to make crazier demand, not only on the people around him and on the country as well. And like I said, Republicans are breaking apart. I would not be surprised. I've said it before, it's worth repeating because it fits this. If they impeach him, but what we are watching right now is the slow breakup. Marjorie Taylor Greene and others will follow Marjorie Taylor Greene and Massey and company. It's already, they are talking among themselves how to go about handling this. But Trump has no choice, regardless of what he does, but to release the files. And the people, some people in the White House are aware. But it feels like to me intuitively, as I'm saying this, I saw a video, I don't know if any of you have seen it. I don't remember the name of the channel where I show it at. There is a lady, one of the victims, she was a victim of Trump. I don't know, I'm not sure if I mentioned that yesterday. it feels like to me there are two things. There can be more, but less. There are two things it feels like to me he took part in during his friendship with Epstein. He does not want people to know. That's what it feels like to me. And he feels if those things come out, he's going to have to, well, my guy is going to turn against him on top of Democrats and independents who already don't like his policies. He's going to have to leave the presidency. He knows. That's why he's so desperate to kill the Epstein files. And believe me, if they leave it to him, he's not going to back down. People are going to have to take the wheel and convince him and said, there is no choice. And I feel that's part of what's coming as well. But he's not telling people, but intuitively I feel there are two things he did. That's what's causing him so much agita. That's driving him up the wall. He doesn't know what to do. Those things are really, I'm just going to leave it that way, regardless of whatever the activities were. I'm not going to get into that. Okay, I'm doing that on purpose. But it feels like to me it's true. But there are more, but two that are really bad, that will paint him in a very bad light. Okay? But mentally, he's going to continue to get worse and exponentially worse as the weeks go by. And intuitively, that's going to cause him to make more demands, impossible demands on others. And that's not going to work for him at all. That's my prediction. And someone asked me about the military. I think it's a very important question. The military, to me, is in the same place they were before. They don't want to take part in politics or anything of that sort. But the majority, and I mean the majority of active duty military, they feel they are being put, and if they are not being put in a bad situation right now, they are worried about what's going to happen down the street. And I'm saying this because I don't know how many of you heard what Rachel Maddow said last night, that some of our military members are asking for help, legal help, about what they are being asked to do, and it has to do with the killings that are taking place in the Caribbean. But it's these people right now, other soldiers that are not being asked yet to do anything illegal. They are very concerned. No, I mean, all of them, and also on top of that, all of them are concerned about what's going on in this and at home, if you will. And no, intuitively, I don't feel Trump or Akshat or Vance can convince the military to come to to come home and fire on us. It's not going to happen. But right now, our military personnel are not in a good place mentally, it feels like to me. They are very concerned about what may come and what their options are. That's the reason why a lot of them right now are looking for what they should do. If they are asked where to go, who to contact, if they feel they are given an unlawful order. It's a big deal right now in the military. Let me know, you guys, if you hear anything about that. I haven't seen, I mean, I've heard about those in the Caribbean asking for legal help, but haven't seen anything yet for the rest. But that's how I feel intuitively. So let me know if you come across anything. But the military, it's still the same. If anything, they are more convinced now. Okay, because guys, if you watch what's going on in North Carolina, okay. I was looking at a segment, in fact, right before I came. That's possibly why it upsets me when I see certain things on TV. And about what's going on in our country. And that's why I forgot to turn my mic and the receiver on. How North Carolinians are standing up to protect the less fortunate, the immigrants among them. To me, I didn't expect this type of that many people suddenly they just take to the streets and saying no, this is wrong. Okay. Our soldiers are watching, they're seeing that. Okay, they know what's going on. In their mind, it's a big deal, and in my mind as well. Okay, but there's something else that is happening, and high ups in the government and the Senate and in the House, there's something that's creeping in to the consciousness of those high level, like the Senate, the leaders. The foot soldiers are getting it as well. In a sense, what Trump is doing with this immigration stuff is destabilizing the country. It may not be, or intuitively I would prefer, I would rather say that Miller doesn't care as long as he sends those brown and black people someplace else. He doesn't care because he was screaming on Fox last night. I didn't see it, but I saw clips. But this is beginning to creep into the minds of Mike Johnson and company, John Thune and company, the Supreme Court. And they are wondering, and it scares them, about the reaction of some people. But my friend, the military is the same way as well. They've been there because they've been receiving orders, things like from Eggshot, that they don't, certain orders, like he ordered them to watch, it was mandatory that they watched that speech he gave, and he gave them a certain amount of time that everyone should view it. It's a cult. Yeah. They don't like it. So they cannot convince the military to, and the way they are going about doing it is wrong anyway. They don't understand. They have no idea. If you want to co-opt somebody, you think you're going to humiliate them, put them down, give them orders? Not going to work. They're going to turn on you on a dime like that. So those of you who are worried about where the military stand, if they will do Trump's bidding, nope, not happening. And 1 second. Okay, that's where I've also put the GOP thinking that has to do with not only they know Trump has to release the files, but if you see what happened in California, what happened in Chicago, what's happening in D.C., what's happening in North Carolina right now, and Trump, according to their plans, they're going to continue doing this. It's having a destabilization effect. And right now in Washington, D.C., people are protesting, demanding that Trump leave the White House, his resignation. And that's going to get worse. I believe that was on Rachel Maddow last night as well. So a lot of those leaders are very concerned, and I would not be surprised if fears start creeping in and the not too distant future. And once that sets in, it feels like to me that's going to be part that's going to trigger members in the House to do something, to follow Majority Green. And by the way, do you guys remember I said it yesterday or last week? I said we are watching the slow collapse, okay, of this administration. There's an article about that says basically Trump is losing his grip on the Republican Party. It is true. And the House members are beginning to feel it. That will embolden them to take action, take their power back, get rid of Mike Johnson. Don't be surprised. Mike Johnson is not going to stay there forever. I watched his news conference this morning. This guy lies. When someone, there are ways you can you can say things, okay, you think it's going to convince people. This morning, I watched him for a little bit speaking at his news conference. He sounded just like a preacher. The way, I don't know how many of you saw it, but that was his way of convincing. Just like, when you're reading the Bible to people and you're explaining it, that's what came to mind. He knows how to do that. So it was as if, or a Bible lesson, you read a passage, okay, and you explain it to people. And there's a tone that people use, okay, to convince those who, they are talking to. It's like, I am being honest. Everything I'm saying is true. My interpretation of what I just read to you is correct. That's what he was doing this morning. That's the way I'm getting it. Okay? If you watch maybe that's the way he always spoke, because I never really take the time to focus on what he's saying or his news conference. But this morning I wanted to do it after I watched the ladies, the survivors, the Epstein survivors. I wanted to watch what he was going to say. And I watched it for a couple of minutes. That's what it feels like to me he was doing. But that's not going to work. His ability to just lie. And I said last week or the week before last, they'll vote him out. I don't know how many of you have read that they are sick of him. Because basically he's been going along with everything that Trump says. And they are blaming him for the redistricting activity that him and Trump put together. According to report, he's the one who basically says, he convinced the guy from Texas that he should do the redistricting activity that they held not too long ago. But now it's blowing up. So Republicans in the House are not fans. They're going to turn on him, or they've turned on him already. It's a matter of when they take action to remove him from that position. It is coming. Him and Trump, done. It's a matter of when action is taken to remove them. That's what I feel intuitively. That's my prediction. Because some of the stuff that Miller wants done basically is heading towards violence. I am glad none of that has happened. Well, some of it has happened, but the worst violence has not taken place. And I'm hoping it stays that way. But I was concerned about Chicago. I'm even more concerned about North Carolina. Because Chicago does not have, there are certain, things that apply in North Carolina. I'll just leave it that way. Chicago don't have. I'm sure some of you know. Okay. I feel it's a dangerous situation. Not only North Carolina. From what I understand, they're going to Mississippi or Missouri, something like that. Okay. It's scary. But intuitively, I feel there's a very good possibility they're going to scale back. If you notice, the way Bovino left Chicago, suddenly, don't be surprised if all of a sudden the way they are mistreating immigrants stops. And I don't feel it's going to take a lot of months. I feel it's coming because Republicans are seeing the destabilization. Right now it's at a low grade. They're going to be more worried, and they're going to have more resolve to talk to Trump and those, whenever he sends them to talk to them, it's going to have an effect. And Miller is going to be put in his place. Like I said, he's on his way to getting fired. So let's keep our fingers crossed. That's the only way we will get a break with the way they are treating people. That's my prediction when they get rid of him. Otherwise, he's going to continue to push forward. He believes in what he's doing because of his hatred. Let's see what happens. And some people ask me, somebody asked me if there is nothing incriminating in the files, why not release them? And then the person say a Bloomberg reporter could be heard asking, oh yeah, that's when they call Trump. I mean, Trump calls the reporter Miss Piggy. Sorry about that. The question is, I just saw a HUD worker stating that Trump head director of HUD is going to not fund it anymore within the next 2 months. So many of us live on HUD housing. We will be in the cold. What do you see about this? I don't feel they're going to be able to do it. What I was getting this morning as I was thinking about this, lawsuits. Yes, you're right to worry. I would worry too. But the courts won't allow that. Okay? And someone else asked me, do you think the president's sudden decision to release the tapes is because he knew all along there was nothing in the tape to incriminate him in any type of crime? But prolonging the release actually will work against Democrats going after a story that will not produce anything to harm the president. And like the shutdown will not produce any wins for Democrats. I would not compare that to the shutdown. And I would not intuitively, like I said a little earlier, there are two things that are very bad. People know. Well, people like Wolf, okay? The author who spoke to Epstein, and he has recordings. And among other evidences that they have. Those two things are different, okay? But I don't see, Democrats are not going to lose. Democrats probably lost in the short term when it comes to the shutdown. Democrats may feel that they lost, and I said that before. They have not lost. They didn't lose anything. I mean, healthcare. Wait till next month when the bill hits. Forget it, okay? And with the Epstein files, if there was nothing in there, and some of you think that they're going to scrub Trump's name, it's not only one set of that document. And you know something? More than one people have seen it. Okay? More than one people is aware of it. So forget it. All right? I don't see Democrats fighting for nothing. And intuitively I feel Democrats are aware of a lot more than we know. There are things that they know they're not just going to go on TV and. But I listened to Crockett. Watch what she says. If that was the case, Crockett wouldn't be talking that way. And I trust her. And I trust AOC as well. So let's see what happens. But no, there. So don't worry about Democrats being in the losing end. Like I said earlier, the best thing to do, release the files, take the blows, face what's to come. That's the only alternative here. And the longer they delay it, the worse it's going to get. That's my prediction. Okay. Sorry about that. I told these people that I would. Carol 163 says, no empathy, only cruelty. Yep, that's what they do. That's, that's the goal, you know. Craig Dixon says, it's a choice of right or wrong, legal or illegal. When have any of them been either? That is when your conscience must decide your choice. Exactly. Miss Amanda says, Mike is scared stiff. That's true. He has been looking scared. He is very nervous. I agree. You know, that's why maybe, I don't know, please let me know if the way he spoke this morning is the way he always spoke. But as I was watching him, it felt like to me he was reading a passage of the Bible and interpreting it to those who are listening. And when you do that, you know, there's a certain tone and, you know, a godly, I think, or a priestly turn, a tone, okay, just so that people can believe you. Yeah. They're just digging the hole deeper. That's what I feel. So, it's fun watching these people squirm. That's basically what he's doing. Artist says, a friend of mine is a social worker near a very large military base for the Marines and Navy. She shared with me that the military hates Trump. Thank you for posting this. I've been saying this for how long now, but I've never had someone confirm it that way. I've been saying this for a long time. Some of you even doubted me. One of you, the person didn't mean anything bad. The person says the military will follow whatever he says. You know, when did they ever do the right thing? Because other things were happening, like, for example, what's happening in the Caribbean. Okay? But intuitively, there was no way. And now, every day that goes by, this gets worse. And let me tell you one more thing, okay? If they sensed the military was going to be in the corner, okay, do you think Trump would be waiting and going to court and do all those things to have his way? No. Trump would basically say, I'm going to send in the military. I don't care about any, comitatus, whatever. He would put the military on the streets. It's because he knows they are not fan of his nor exit. So, thank you for posting this, artist. Angelica Fron says, Milu, according to a West Point newsletter, the generals at the meeting with Egbert brought with them Jack. 7 lawyers to advise them. I didn't know that. Really? Well, that's smart. Wow. Okay. Doug Moore says, what if the higher ranking guy is afraid not to follow the commander-in-chief? Any other recourse? Quit. And one of them did that. not too long ago from the Caribbean. A general, I think. I don't remember. I think something like that, or at that level. Yeah, you quit. Or if you say no, according to what I'm told, court-martial. So, yeah, no choice. Okay. Then the Sandoval says, our military should not support Trump and illegal orders. If you follow those orders, get out of our military because you won't get immunity. Exactly. They won't get immunity. But the thing is, that's why a lot of them right now are looking and worried because of what's happening in the Caribbean. And the others who are not in this theater are concerned if they get illegal orders, what to do. Then that's why people they are talking to family members and other people. They don't like the guy because he's putting everything at risk, really. The military is feeling it right now, and the rest of us are feeling it as well because this is not. You know what, guys? There is a level of fear among us that I'm beginning to sense. I remember that fear when I was growing up in Haiti. And it's only going to get worse. You know, like this morning, I heard 20% of students in North Carolina didn't show up for school. And how people are afraid. And it's not only North Carolina, it's throughout the country. And it's the same thing that happened in Haiti. You have to watch what you say, you know, and it's like total control. But it's beginning to creep into our society. And it's bad. But it can be dangerous as well. Okay, because Americans are not used to that. Paying attention or be careful about everything that they say or do. And I'll leave it there. Okay? All right. Let's see. Delagin says, would Melania hand him divorce papers? I doubt it. I mean, it's on her mind, but at this point, why should she? It's a headache. When the guy, possibly, very good chance, I don't know when it's going to happen, but he's staring death in the face right now. Because what he has, and the MRI, that's what, I feel that's what convinced me. I mean, intuitively, I told you guys 6 or 7 years ago what was coming. Okay, but when I heard about the MRI the other day and I Googled why that is, it's not a good sign. And intuitively, that's why I'm saying to you, he has a whole bunch of pressures on him. And he's building a $350-something million ballroom. He doesn't, you know, every once in a while when it hits him, he may not be around to see it. So, yeah, let's see what happens. Things are not good. All right, friends. Thank you very much, everyone, for spending time with me. Thank you, chat managers, for your help. I appreciate it. Mario Elizondo says Trump MRI showed he likes the brand. Yep. If anyone would like a reading from me, the link to my website is below the video, psychicmilu.com, or please feel free to call me or text me on my YouTube number. If you like the channel, please subscribe, and also don't forget to tap on the notification bell. Please give me a thumbs up. That will help me a lot. Thank you very much, everyone, for your support. I appreciate it. I will see you all tomorrow, same time, hopefully, God willing. Till then, bye. Please leave me comments.